Today's class is the sheltering assets class, and we're going to explore which financial products are exposed and which are sheltered from the financial aid formulas. Okay. So I do have a disclaimer, and that is, please be advised before you or your student implement any of these strategies or any of these ideas, please consult with your CPAs, your financial advisors, and your college planning professionals. AZ College Planning does not guarantee any results, as individual results will vary based on the family's AGI, assets, both business and personal assets, as well as the college selection and the applications, the household size, the student's income and assets, as well as some other factors including grades and test scores. Okay? The numbers that I am using in this presentation are for illustration purposes only. Let's talk about the basics first. Okay? We've got two different types of aid. We've got merit aid and need-based aid. So financial aid is available to help students pay for college. And there's two types of aid. There's gift aid and then there's self-help. And self-help is broken into loans and work study. We're not going to be talking about that here. And then gift aid is the scholarships and grants and that money. Okay? So within this, merit aid is always scholarships and grants. And it can, and also can be tuition reductions. We won't be talking about merit aid in this class. That's a whole other class. Okay, what we're talking about here is need-based aid, and need-based aid can be scholarships and grants as well as loans. Again, we're not going to be talking about student loans or parent loans in this class. There's more information on the website regarding student loans and regarding parent loans. Okay. So need-based aid is determined on your income, your adjusted gross income, and your assets, and primarily the visible assets. And these assets that are required to be reported on the financial aid system. Okay, so the goal of this class is to explain how the formula looks at your income and your assets so that we can maximize need-based aid following all the rules legally and ethically. So as U.S. taxpayers, we're all entitled to some tax benefits, such as if you've got a child that's under this a certain age and your income is under a certain age, you can write that child off of your taxes, correct? Okay. So because of that, we have the potential and the ability to reduce our tax liability. Okay. So we've got to know what the rules are. Okay, and if you know the rules, it's easier to play the game and win. If you don't know the rules, it's much harder to win at the college aid game. So there's two main financial aid forms, the CSS Profile and the FAFSA. Okay, we're going to cover some of the basics in this class. There's the financial aid class, which will cover these forms line by line and go into details on that. Okay. So let's talk about the CSS Profile. That one can be found on College Board's website. And one of the primary things that you need to know about the CSS Profile is there is a fee for it, and the fee is $25 for the first college, and then $16 for each additional college. And that's currently what it is for the 2013-14 school year. They may raise that next year, I don't know, but we'll find out. There are fee waivers applications for low-income families if you do qualify for that. Typically, the very selective and the selective colleges are the ones that require the CSS Profile. So not every college requires this form. There's about 200 or so different colleges that require the CSS Profile. Okay, and again, it's going to be the Ivy schools, Harvard, Stanford, MIT, those types of colleges that will require the CSS Profile. This form may ask about your primary home equity. It may ask about your IRAs and your 401ks and other retirement funds. This form will go into more detail than the FAFSA form. And the CSS Profile may ask about your business income assets, both income and losses in that. Okay? Sometimes it's prudent to apply to a CSS Profile school, sometimes not. This is the second form, or actually this is the main form, the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Please do make a note of the website, fafsa.ed.gov. That is the correct website. There are many imposter websites out there. This is the correct one. Okay? So this is the formula that calculates your EFC, your expected family contribution. All colleges will want this form, and this form determines if you qualify for any federal or state aid, and colleges will want to and may require you to file this form to see if they can get any money from federal or from state to help offset their costs and that. Okay? Every family should file this form regardless if you think you'll qualify for it or not. Sometimes you might be surprised where you might actually qualify for need-based aid. Okay? I've seen college financial aid administrators grant aid to students that they have wanted to admit, and those families typically should not have qualified for need-based aid, and the financial aid officer at the school overrode that and gave them aid. Okay? There is no fee for this form, and this form does not ask about your primary residence home equity. So the EFC, we're still talking about the basics here. The EFC is your expected family contribution. It's a number calculated from the FAFSA form and the FAFSA formula. This is what the colleges and the federal government expect you to pay for college. This is, if you want to look at it this way, it's kind of similar to your deductible with your car insurance or with your home. Before, and God forbid you were in an accident, before the insurance company pays to replace or repair your car, you've got to come up with a deductible first, correct? It's the same idea with a college, that they want you to come up with that deductible, that EFC first, before they give you any need-based aid. Okay? Now, if your child was offered merit aid, and that merit scholarship could be greater than your EFC, and that. So merit aid doesn't necessarily affect need-based aid. So there's been some situations where some families and some students have applied to specific types of colleges, and they've received merit aid scholarships, and when those families didn't qualify for need-based aid at those schools and that. Okay? Again, we want to try and maximize and capitalize on both need-based aid and merit aid. Okay? All right. So here's an example. ASU's cost. The cost of attendance at ASU is $25,922. This is for the 2012-13 school year. And this includes living on campus, the dorms, meal plan, tuition, everything. Student ID cards, insurance, books, etc. When we talk about the cost of attendance, we're incorporating everything. That's the total cost, not just what are the tuition fees. Okay? So at ASU, $25,922. And in the example that I'm showing you here, that this family's EFC is $26,000. That's greater than the cost of the college. When you subtract those two, they don't qualify for need-based aid. Now, if we take that same family and they apply to Gettysburg College, where the sticker price is $59,300, now they qualify for $33,000 in need-based aid. Okay? So this college may be less expensive than the in-state school for some students, based on the amount of aid that would be granted by the college. So don't throw out a college based solely on the sticker price until we've done all these different things, until we found out what the discounts are and the scholarships and the grants, etc. Okay? In the long run, a more expensive college may be less expensive. And then also, we want to throw into the mix graduation rates. What's the typical graduation timeline at these different schools? As this school, the average kid takes 6 years. In this school, the average kid takes 4 years. So that also needs to be looked at when we're looking at these different colleges. Okay? So here's another example of ASU, and this family, their EFC is $5,000. Now this family qualifies for $20,922 in scholarships. Okay? So one factor that we need to look at is how generous is the college. Some colleges will meet your full need, and like Gettysburg will meet your full need, and some colleges will meet only a percentage, and then there are some colleges that will say we meet your full need, but we'll give it to you all in loans. Okay, we want to look at all those different things, and that this class isn't to identify those types of colleges. That's a whole nother class and stuff. Okay, so don't throw out a college based solely on the sticker price. Many colleges raise their prices because they can, and because there's a perceived value when something is much more expensive. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why colleges will raise their price. Well, our college is $60,000. Ooh, $60,000, that must be a good school because they're charging so much. They charge so much because they can. Okay? So in the EFC formula, these are things that are not counted. Okay, and the FAFSA doesn't ask about your primary home's equity. It also doesn't account for anything under the retirement umbrella, and it also doesn't account for business assets. Okay? So families who have included principal amounts of their 401ks and their IRAs, Roths, etc., that are in their retirement accounts have falsely inflated their EFCs. Okay, I was talking with one family, and their adjusted gross income was $90,000, but when they ran the EFC and filed the FAFSA form, it came back stating that their EFC was $99,999. That's the highest you can get. $100,000 was their EFC. Now the reason why their EFC was so high was because they included their 401ks and their IRAs in there when the FAFSA specifically states do not include these funds. And we'll talk about what funds are and aren't to be included on that. Okay? Some other factors that calculate the EFC are the age of the oldest parent, the number of people in your household. With the age of the oldest parent, stop using your beauty cream and all that. So you look. No, I'm just kidding. And then with number of people in your household, go pick up some spare relatives or anything like that, so they can live with you. Okay. And then number of students in college. This is one of the big factors. If you've got a younger student and you've got one student in college and you've got a younger student who's still in high school, maybe a junior or senior in high school, have that student take a couple community college classes, and you could theoretically cut your EFC in half. Because when you look at the EFC, the F stands for family. What is your family EFC? So whatever that number is for that particular year, if you've got 2 kids and your EFC is $20,000, well, with 2 kids, it would be technically split in half, 10 grand per kid. Okay? Or if you've got 3 kids or more. All right? Okay. Another factor that calculates the EFC is your adjusted gross income. That's line 37 on your Federal 1040. We'll look at that as we move forward. And also exposed assets. Okay, exposed assets. One of the things that we want to look at with exposed assets is based on your age, and that would be the age of the oldest parent in the household, they have an asset protection allowance. And any dollar amount that you have that's an exposed asset above that asset protection allowance will get calculated into the EFC formula. So in your booklet is, in the back of the book, don't look at it now, but you can look at it later, and then on the website is a chart for the 2013 year that lists an age and then what your asset protection allowance is. Okay, so a 45-year-old with 2 parents in the household, their asset protection allowance is $36,200. So what that states is that if you've got if you've got less than $36,000 in exposed assets, well, it doesn't matter. But if you've got exposed assets above that dollar amount, then they're going to calculate that into the EFC formula. Okay? Okay. And then at age 46, the asset protection allowance goes up. So each year you age, it goes up, but it's not significant. So at 45, it was $36,200, and then at 46, it's $37,100. So that's a $900 difference there. Okay. So again, when you age each year, the asset protection allowance doesn't increase dramatically. Okay. All right. Exposed assets include liquid monies, checking, savings accounts, CDs, money markets, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and any money in either the parent or student's name. The FAFSA also asks about mattress money. Okay? How much money do you have in cash? Okay? Why anyone would want to divulge how much money they've got stuck in their mattress, I don't know. Okay? Now I got a funny story to tell you. When my grandmother passed away, we had to go in and clean out her house. And she was from the Depression age, and so she had cash stashed everywhere. And I told my kids that at that time they were younger, 8, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that age bracket. We went in there and I said, we're going to go clean out Grandma's house. Oh, I don't want to do that. Well, here's the deal. Any money that you find, you can keep. Really? Where is it? I don't know. It could be anywhere. And literally anywhere. She had a $10 bill wrapped up in the freezer, stuck in the meat. She had cash stuck in a sock. It was just crazy anywhere, and that.